Andrew Tate. I know that name inflicts a lot of feelings on a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And those feelings, well, you got to tell me in the comments what you feel when I tell you that name. That being said, today's video we're going to be reacting to is the deserved end of Andrew Tate, or the fall of Andrew Tate, however you want to chop it. That's the title of the video. Link to the original video down in the description below. If you like the commentary and conversations and reactions that we have here on this channel, consider subscribing, dropping a like for the YouTube gods. But more importantly, get your keyboards ready because we're going to jump right into it now.
Andrew Tate is currently living on borrowed time. The once self-proclaimed top G is looking and more desperate with each passing day, scrambling to hold on to whatever influence he has left. From pump and dump crypto schemes to literal pyramid schemes, over the past few years he's used every scummy tactic he could think of to maintain his image of a successful man.
And that's not to mention like some of the pimping that he was doing. I mean, is that what we're calling it, or is it like I mean, I don't want to, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to be saying like what I think it might be, but that being said, I think there's just so much more to him that he's been doing that also makes it more egregious, if that makes sense. I'm not a fan of him, so.
Fortunately for Andrew, the walls are closing in faster than he can react. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're revisiting the latest updates in the Andrew Tate saga, how he fled Romania the second he got
Where's that music going? Oh, it's his video.
The chance, only to receive an even more hostile reception in the US. At this rate, it won't be long before he has nowhere to run. Now, for those who haven't seen my previous videos on Tate, here's a super quick recap to bring you up to speed. Andrew Tate is a kickboxer turned online influencer who made videos flaunting his immense wealth and quote unmatched masculinity, all while showing his viewers that they too can achieve that level of wealth as well.
If they buy my 5-year course at $1,200 a month. Look, I looking back on it, the pandemic made people really stupid, but I still don't understand how people fell for this guy. I just don't. I still to this very day, because it's like there was grifters. There's always been grifters on the internet. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how people still fell for this.
The only thing they had to do was buy his $50 course, but his alpha male brand took a massive hit in December of.
I haven't seen this video, but it's so funny. That everybody knows the joke. That's what I'm saying. Like everyone knows the joke. So look? He's making the joke. I hadn't seen the video. I made the joke. Just lets you know how many people were aware that he was playing people. So that's why I myself am shocked that people are still falling for that. But anyway, sorry. I just anytime I get vindicted, is it vindicted or whatever, proven right, I'm gonna say it. Okay.
2022, when he was arrested in Romania with serious charges of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. After more than 90 days in prison, he was moved to house arrest in April of 2023, which lasted another 4 months. He was freed in August of that year under the condition that he wasn't allowed to leave Romania. However, the investigation into his horrible crimes continued, resulting in him being placed under house arrest for a second time in August of 2024. Meanwhile, the UK police also issued an arrest warrant for the Tate brothers for similar charges, but this didn't stop him from continuing to scam his audience.
Look, I understand sometimes, like this is where I think it gets a little confusing, it muddies the water. When you look at some of these other countries and some of the charges that they have, even in the US, I guess, some of these, like the UK, like no one really takes the UK serious right now, because of some of the charges that they're throwing at people for just regular speech. And so it's like that's the interesting thing. It's like when the Romania does it, it makes sense. People are like, yeah, this is something we got to take serious. But once these other countries start adding stuff, and it's like, are they just trying to throw this guy in jail just because they don't like him, or did he actually do it? Which I honestly think he, again, allegedly did these things. But I do want to point out that sometimes by other countries who don't have a good track record right now, or aren't taken serious, when they jump into the pool, it just makes people take it less serious, if that makes sense.
Which brings us to my last video on Andrew Tate, discussing CoffeeZilla's investigation into his many crypto grifts, as he kept peddling rug pulls and robbing his audience out of millions, despite being very vocal against crypto in the past.
Said he was going to launch a crypto coin. So I immediately pointed out that over a year ago, Tate said that he didn't need to rob his fans. He wasn't going to launch a coin. Tate replied, "Imagine being such a great detective you can't detect a joke." Now, I'll admit that one stung a little bit. And when I did some research, I realized I had been tricked.
Are you going to launch your own crypto?
No, I'm never going to launch a crypto. I just like to with crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter are full of the biggest degenerate losers on the planet. They're losers. Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero.
If any other person would have said this, I would have said extremely based. True. Crypto Twitter is so delusional. I hate crypto. I hate it so much. It's one of the, it's even people today are still like, no, it's the future. It's the future. It's like, but you can't even use it. Like they name one real case of using it. So how is it going to be the future if you guys can't even figure out how to use it outside of rug pulling? And it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, it's funny that like the worst guy says something that you agree with, right? I just think it's hilarious that even that is true now.
Well, there you have it. I mean, I can apologize. I can admit when I'm wrong. Clearly, it was a joke. Tate would never actually scam people with a coin. Oh, turns out he did.
In addition to these pump and dump scams, Tate also launched his Discord-like platform with a $50 entry fee called The Real World. He described it as the only way to, quote, escape the Matrix. By this point, Tate had completely forgotten about his apparent disdain for crypto, so as you might imagine, this new platform had a crypto token of its own. He hyped the coin with promises of massive profits for its members. However, these so-called gains seemed even shadier than his past crypto scams, because, as it turns out, the whole thing was just a pyramid scheme with extra steps.
Tate's new plan is that...
And yes, yeah. Like, I just don't understand. You know what? I'm just going to reserve judgment. I already said what I need to say, and not reserve judgment, but I just feel like a lot of this happened a while back. And the fact that this stuff is still happening is kind of what the issue for me is like, it's less common now, but it's just like even more obvious that these pyramid schemes, these rug pulls are just like, how do you not see it?
That you buy a get rich quick course, gain power points, you have to stay subscribed to keep your power points, and then they say they will pay you a percentage that their school makes.
The goal is that you can buy the token and own a percentage of the school. So imagine you sign up for the real world, you start to make money, you focus on your tasks, then you can invest that money in the real world token and get paid every single month, a monthly dividend from the profits of the school.
All right, I think I get it. So you got the people at the bottom, they're paying up into the course, into the school. Then you got the people higher with higher power levels. They're making money from people at the bottom with the coin. And then all that money flows up. It's just kind of this nice little pyramid scheme.
And that's where we left off. Fast forward to today, and a lot has gone down since our last deep dive into Andrew Tate's criminal shenanigans. The first major event happened just a couple weeks after I posted my video. On the 25th of November 2024, the Real World platform got hacked, resulting in the chat logs of over 800,000 users getting leaked to the public.
And man, were they embarrassed. I loved it. I'm just kidding. I don't ever think hacking is good or anything like that, but yeah, you got to see the cringe that existed, and it was kind of embarrassing.
This also included the personal email addresses of about 325,000 users. Worst of all, this wasn't some sophisticated elite level hacking either, as the group responsible for this attack described the platform's security as hilariously insecure, which, as a comment on YouTube pointed out, mirrors Andrew's entire persona. Reading, I mean, there's nothing about Tate that isn't hilariously insecure, so his website being the same is no surprise. Tate tried to downplay the situation on Twitter while also using this opportunity to promote his platform further, stating, "We hacked a school and saw the chats of his 800,000 members. The chats are public. You literally bought a membership and logged in and read the rooms. Call that a hack? What's 800,000 times $49 a month? Oh wait, you bought a membership. What's 800,001 times $49 a month? We are huge because we work. Everyone makes money inside the real world."
In fairness, was it an actual hack, or did it just like actually just buy a membership and get everything? Because either way, if it was I don't ever condone hacking. I think hacking is kind of a disgusting thing these days. But even if you could just buy a membership and then just get all the logs and everything, I still think that there needs to be some sense of security to that. Like I understand where he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter, but I think like people's information shouldn't be that public. It shouldn't cost $49 to get every single chat log to ever exist. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like there should be maybe another additional layer of anonymity, because that's even if it wasn't a hack, that's still too easy to do. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know, it's like, if imagine this happened at like a workplace, like as another company, all it took was just like buying a membership to the same platform, and then you have access to every single person that uses that platform. I just think it's a terrible idea.
However, he conveniently forgot to mention the fact that this hack also included logs from private chat servers.
So it was a chat. It was a leak. It was an actual leak, an actual hack.
Not just the public ones. In other words, scammers now had access to a gold mine, a massive list of easy targets who were already gullible enough to drop $50 on Tate's online school. Many of them were likely interested in cryptocurrency as well, making them prime prey for crypto scams. On top of that, some of these users also willingly shared personal information in private chat rooms, giving scammers everything they needed for blackmail or extortion. Tate, however, couldn't care less. The only thing on his mind is making even more money than he already is, no matter what. A point perfectly summed up by the top reply under his tweet, stating, "You make $40 million a month of Super Simp subscriptions, and you still need to rug 5 new shitcoins on stream every week." But while Tate had no problem turning a blind eye to the mess his platform created, he couldn't do the same for a court ruling less than a month later. You see, on the 18th of December, a London court ordered the seizure of more than £2 million from Tate for tax evasion. This one hit him where it hurt the most.
That's so funny. Isn't it crazy that like they probably copied that from the US? Because I'll be honest, if the US, if some of these jurisdictions can't get you, these prosecutors or whatever can't get you, tax evasion, baby, they'll find a way. Oh, he didn't pay $3 in taxes. They're gonna get you. I don't know what it is. It's like it's like the long range, you know, it's a 3-pointer that's always gonna land. It's a half-court shot that's always going to land is tax evasion. It's so crazy.
First, straight in his wallet, leading to him crashing out and, as typical for Tate at this point, blaming the quote Matrix, stating, "First, they labeled me a human trafficker, yet they couldn't find a single woman to stand against me. When
That's a lie.
that narrative crumbled, they turned to outright theft, freezing my accounts for more than 2 years, and now seizing everything they could. This is not justice. It's a coordinated attack on anyone who dares to challenge the system. Speak against the Matrix, and they'll come for your freedom, your reputation, and your livelihood." This raises serious questions about the lengths authorities will go to silence dissent. But then something unexpected happened that no one saw coming. For the first time in 2 years, things started to swing in the Tate brothers' favor. It began on the 14th of January 2025, when a Romanian court released the brothers from house arrest. That said, their freedom was still limited to Romania. They weren't allowed to leave the country under any circumstances. It wasn't ideal, but the brothers were probably just relieved to finally leave the house after so long.
But I mean, they do got like, I mean, look, if I'm on house arrest, would I choose my house or like a big ass mansion? I'd probably choose a mansion because you can, you know, move a little bit more. But it's so crazy how differently things are over there. But also, I just want to say, if he's making like 50 million a month and they only seize 2 million, why didn't he just, if it was really for tax evasion, why didn't he just pay his taxes? Let's ignore everything else. Was this guy so greedy that he was making 50 million a month, okay, that he couldn't pay $2 million in taxes? Am I crazy for thinking like, dude, how greedy do you have to be, or how dumb do you have to be to just, like, I'm saying like just that alone is kind of stupid. Like, brother, you're making $50 million a month. How greedy do you have to be?
However, before they could fully enjoy their newfound freedom, another case came forward, threatening to take it all away. On the 10th of February, an American woman sued the brothers for allegedly luring her to Romania for adult work under false pretenses. Given their history and existing cases, this could have easily landed the two back on house arrest, or even worse, behind bars. Shockingly, that's not what happened. Instead, on the 27th of February, the two were given free rein to travel anywhere in the world, an opportunity they used to immediately flee to America. This also sparked a wave of speculation, with some claiming that the trafficking cases against Andrew and Tristan in Romania were dropped. But that turned out to be completely false, which raised more questions than it answered.
Which a lot of people were happy and praising. A lot of these other grifters were dick riding hard on Twitter, like praising these guys coming to America, which is funny because most Americans are like, regardless of how they feel about the Matrix and all that weird shit, most people don't like these guys because they just, one, are just snobby, and like entitled and all this crazy shit. So there's a lot of qualities that people don't like, on top of obviously the allegations, but also the problems that they cause, right? But the amount of grifters, and I'm talking about influencer grifters, I don't know if that's the word, I don't know, 2 words, I guess, but the amount of people glazing this dude when he moved over here, it was just insane. I thought it was like, dude, you just got to put the clown makeup on, man. Like, that's crazy. These people, they know who they are.
After all, why would Romanian authorities keep the Tate brothers locked in the country for so many years, only to let them off the leash for seemingly no reason? It didn't make any sense. That is, until you connected the dots and realized that Andrew and Tristan Tate's release coincided with something major that happened just a month prior, Trump's inauguration. Minutes after entering the Oval Office, Trump began signing dozens of executive orders, one of which also included a prudential pardon for the 1,500 people arrested in relation to the January 6th riots. Put simply, rumors began circulating that the Trump administration pressured the Romanian government to release the Tate brothers. And while they stayed silent on the matter in front of the media,
Donald Trump helped get the travel ban lifted?
the rumor wasn't completely unsubstantiated. By this point, the brothers had been vocal supporters of Trump's administration,
But I could have sworn that he said, and like a lot of Republicans don't actually like these guys. So I'm actually curious about this part.
and never shied away from sharing their views, like when Andrew addressed the Danish Prime Minister by calling her a pussy, and backing Trump's decision to buy Greenland in a tweet reading, "You don't want any kind of war with Trump, give us Greenland immediately, and thank your lucky stars we don't take Copenhagen." So Trump essentially bailing the two out wasn't out of the question. However, when asked about it, Trump denied knowing anything about the brothers.
President Trump, Andrew and Tristan Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so,
I know nothing about that. I don't know.
Though some stayed adamant that he was the one behind their release, with one person writing, quote, "I know nothing about that," is Trump's standard lie. Whether Trump played a role or not, Andrew was just glad to be finally out of Romania. He even expressed his desire to stay in the US for a long time.
Yeah, I'm being patient with it because I intend on being in America for a very long time now.
What he didn't realize was that certain US officials also wanted him to stay, but for entirely different.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like Americans, how do I say, like, the thing is, it's like America has such a big pull in the entertainment space and in the world conversations, but people don't actually, they see that, they see what the discussions online and shit like that, but they don't actually know what Americans think, right? Most Americans don't actually like these guys. I can tell you confidently. regardless of where they are. Like I'm a more average person when it comes to like you got the ultra woke left, right? The delusional, mentally ill, colored hair people, and then you got the oh, I gotta work out, be completely toxic to everybody around me. I gotta get scammed by rug pulls, matrix, matrix, matrix. You got those either ends. Most Americans are in the middle. Okay. And believe it or not, most Americans who are in the middle hate both of these people. So that's what people need to understand is that Americans really don't like these Andrew Tate guys. Which, by the way, I just want to throw this in here. I try to do a little bit of political content, but I really didn't get to do it because I realized something very quickly. Most people, as a smaller creator, if people don't know that you're more central or moderate, you're gonna get hate from both sides. And I found that it was really retarded that the internet and people who consume political content are actually brain dead. They're actually brain dead for the most part because I would get attacked from people call me, oh, he's a fascist, he's a Nazi for something so not even just saying like, hey guys, like a minor political opinion, not even anything crazy. But then if I agree with like, oh, equal marriage, same sex marriage or whatever, oh, he's a this, he's a that. It's like, bro, I'm getting hate from both sides. I'm a normal person. Like, what are you guys talking about? And so that's why I don't really do political content anymore, because it's like I don't need to contribute to the space. It's just not worth it for me.
Reasons. You see, after arriving in the US, Andrew and his brother quickly made their way to Florida. They likely thought a Republican stronghold would be a safe haven for them. Florida's governor, however, wasn't too keen on having two alleged sex traffickers in his state.
Yeah.
Is he welcome here? What the say? Send him back to Romania or whatever.
Well, we have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media, but the reality is, no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air.
Now, it was entirely possible that this was nothing more than a political statement. Maybe the governor didn't want to damage his own reputation by showing any support for the Tate brothers, but he also didn't care enough to do anything about it either. That's what Andrew and Tristan were probably hoping for as well. Much to their dismay, however, the Florida government followed through on its plan to investigate them. The state's Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, has been particularly vocal in his opposition to the two brothers.
They've gone public, joking around saying, oh, what is the age of consent in America? 15, 16, 17, oh, we can't remember. That's absurd. That is horrific. And anybody that's going to defend, that practice is on the wrong side of me, that's for sure.
He also released a statement formally announcing the state's plan to investigate the Tates and bring them to justice.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want. But in Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not.
Yeah. And this is what I was trying to say earlier I was waiting for the video to say it because I don't want to, look, as much as I have my opinions, you got to try not to get sued on YouTube, unfortunately, or have your shit taken down. But yeah, I think the allegations that they have about all this stuff, I think there's a lot of real weight to it. I think that it's something that needs to be very taken seriously. And so it's cool to see Florida's taking it serious. I mean, they would have anyway. And if you think about it, some of the other states would have been more stricter on them. Like somewhere like Texas would probably be more aggressive. But that's just because, low key, I think they just like locking famous people up. So that's just my opinion. So they just like getting the credit of locking famous people up. So that's why they're so aggressive with investigations and shit like that. But that aside, I do think like the defense of these guys, it's just even if they weren't, all these things turn out to be not true. It's just one of those things where like these allegations are so detailed and specific that it's like, bro, you can't defend this. And you got to let this handle itself in court, because that's crazy that these people are glazing these guys on Twitter and like trying to like, I don't know, grift off of them. It's just embarrassing. So like, because I do believe innocent until proven guilty for the most part, but there's times when it's like, yeah, innocent until proven guilty, but man, do these guys look real guilty. Like and they're shitty people. So, and they rug pulled and they've done all this other shit. So like, it's like, something needs to be done, whether it's jail time, whether it's fines, whether something has to be done about these guys. Nothing, no violence. Okay. No violence, never calling for violence, but some legal ramification has to happen, or legal consequence has to happen because of all the troubles that they cause people. Even if the other stuff isn't true, the amount of rug pulls that they've done, the amount of scamming that they've done, like that in and of itself still deserves some type of consequence, but it hasn't happened.
Not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable.
As you might imagine, this was devastating news for Andrew, who genuinely thought he was finally safe after fleeing Romania. He tried to spin this as a political move from DeSantis, claiming that he's only pursuing Tate because he supported another candidate instead of DeSantis' wife, writing, "Ron DeSantis is attacking me because he was worried I would support Brian Donalds over his wife. Knowing I have monumental political weight and trust our commander and chief, President Trump's recommendations completely. They attacked me, trying to prevent me from destroying his wife's political ambitions." Interestingly, I had no interest in Floridian politics until I learned how communist the DeSantis admin is. The game is on. What Andrew didn't expect was that Byron would also come forward and support the Attorney General's decision to investigate the brothers.
Do you support the Attorney General's actions here?
I do. I think those allegations have to be fully investigated, and then we go from there. The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women or, frankly, the abuse of women. We do not tolerate that.
After exhausting all other options, Andrew decided to go on
the face, dude.
Random podcasts and rant about his troubles.
And what have I done since I've arrived? I did Patrick Bet David and sat on my laptop. That's all I've done. I've done Patrick Bet David, I sat on my laptop and I had Taco Bell, and I've got a criminal investigation?
Yeah.
Where the it doesn't even make any sense.
As if this was somehow going to convince.
I can't stand Candace Owens, man. Like, she is so... I can't even tell if she's being serious or not. That's how crazy of a grifter she is. But like, man, oh God, she's so fucking annoying. It's just like, it's just like, you got people like Hassan Piker and you got your Candace Owens. People who would just say anything and anything just to get clout. Just to gobble up and grift, to suck the teeth of grifting.
Convinced the Florida authorities to leave him alone. But this was only the beginning, because while all these podcast rants started with him trying to defend his own case, they quickly devolved into Andrew saying more and more incriminating stuff.
Of course.
Like comparing himself to Epstein.
So the fact that my brother and I get more hate for human trafficking than Epstein shows how susceptible people are to matrix programming.
And talking about how he relates to P. Diddy.
I sit there and go, wait.
The fuck's going on here, guys?
I don't know Diddy, never spoken to him. I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is they've decided to wreck him. I don't know his side of the story. He may be guilty. His side of the story might be, yeah, I did it, but so did this guy, and this guy. I'm only asking why only him. I said, T, they're about to get Diddy. He said, why? I said, they've released a video that is 10 years old. They've been sitting on this for 10 long years. This was 2016 they got the footage. Why has no one seen it? And Tristan goes, and that's out now? I was like, yep. 2 weeks later, arrested. They set up the public perception before the arrest. And I know how this works, so I saw it and called it. This came out of nowhere. This was stored somewhere in the Matrix archives. When they decided to take him down, first thing you do is slander him, just like they did to me.
Though all of this pales in comparison to him passionately claiming that authorities can't arrest him because he...
But, it still does not change the fact that you committed so many scams and rug pulls. Like I'm saying, like, the trafficking stuff, I seriously think happened. Or like the allegations, I think there's real weight to them. And I think he should go to trial to either prove himself innocent or be proven guilty. Like, I think he needs to go to trial for those. But that being said, those aside, he still scammed a bunch of people. So the fact is like, why is he expecting anybody to believe him? No, I'm not going to believe him. Nobody's going to believe him. He is still a scammer and a liar. So if he's not a trafficker, he still is a scammer. So it's like, this dude's acting like he's like, I don't know. I just think like something needs to like there needs to be some legal consequence to this guy.
He wipes his phone every night.
You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this. Come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. Let's do this all over again. I've done it for 4 years in Romania. You think I'm scared of your state jail after an Eastern European gulag? I'm staying right here.
The investigation launched by the Florida government also inspired people to take matters into their own hands and dig for the truth. And what they found was nothing short of horrific. In early March, an old video of him resurfaced and went viral on the internet. In this video, Andrew can be seen restraining a girl on the bed and hitting her repeatedly with his belt, while hurling a barrage of verbal insults at her as well.
Tell me you love me. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it. You message one other guy ever again, whether we're together or not. Yeah, you understand me? Do you understand me? Say it then. Say I understand. Say it like you say it again.
To make this already messed up situation even worse, the girl in this video was allegedly just 15 years old at the time.
Can I say, allegedly, right? God damn it. I want to say what I like, you know what I mean? This is the thing about legal stuff. You got to be careful what you say. But man, does this guy look guilty? I'll tell you what. And man, he looks so guilty based on these allegations, based on this evidence. Man, does he look guilty? Sheesh.
While Andrew himself was 25. Tate tried to excuse his actions in the video by releasing a video of Vivian, the girl who's in the original video, claiming that it was all consensual.
Hi, I'm pretty sure many of you have seen a video of Andrew Tate beating up a woman, and I'm pretty sure not so many of you have seen the same woman coming forward with a statement saying it was nothing but a play. So here I am again for the second time. Yes, the woman he has beaten up, and the same woman who has made a statement is me. So I'm coming forward for the second time to just clarify and let everybody know it was nothing but a play.
And this could have worked as a viable excuse, if not for the fact that A, Vivian was a minor at the time, so she couldn't have legally consented anyway, and B, messages from Tate were leaked in which he was telling his crew to get a video from Vivian and quote, tell her what to say. Other videos of him on the internet.
Get his ass. Get his ass. Get him. Get him. Just kidding. Nah, dude. Oh, man. I think that's another thing, too. Like, this dude really thought he was going to be slick. But if she was 15, dude, like, she legally can't even consent. So, hey, I hope he goes to jail. Because this guy's just, like, a scumbag and needs to go to jail.
He couldn't have legally consented anyway.
There's people who go to jail for less. And the fact that this guy's still around is insane to me.
And B, messages from Tate were leaked in which he was telling his crew to get a video from Vivian and quote, tell her what to say. Other videos of him on the internet show him essentially giving step-by-step instructions on how he manipulates girls into doing adult work for him.
That part is crazy. That's like, and the fact that men were trying to recreate this. Actually, no, the fact that men have recreated this, like look at the problem with like OF right now, OnlyFans. And how many people are like in these management talent agencies suddenly over the last couple of years, dude. And the fact that this was so public for a while, and women fell for that too, is even crazier. Because like I'm not trying to victim blame here, but some of these women should have known better, because a lot of this information was public for a long time. But that being said, does not matter. The fact is, there was like this institutionalized, is that the word? Like, or is it like systematic, like trapping and manipulating trend that was going on and making people rich, while also people are just completely oblivious to it, even though it was public. It's just, there's so many things that were going, like, it's like, man, I don't know. I just think OF needs to be investigated, and there needs to be some type of regulations around that. And there just needs to be better, better public conversations, because a lot of this stuff is public. A lot of these, this is what a lot of these guys do. Like, people know this, right? I don't consume OF content, but I know that this is how they do it. They model it after this guy, right? there's just so many things wrong with this whole situation. I think there just needs to be a bigger conversation on OF.
For Tate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
That being said, Tate now understands that all of this is too much for him to handle. No amount of scripted fake explanations and podcast appearances is going to get the Florida government off his back. So he decided to run for his life once again and go back to Romania, which he claims is to quote, prove his innocence.
Back in Romania, like I said I'd be, because innocent men don't run from anything. We're here to clear our names and exonerate ourselves, and after all...
What could be the real reason, of course, was to avoid getting arrested in the US. But while they might think they've gotten away scot-free, the Florida Attorney General says that the investigation is still going on as usual.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, the Tate brothers are not in Florida right now. The investigation is still ongoing, but at the end of the day, if you're here and you're a criminal, if you're going to engage in activities that go after women, that go after our...
Yeah, don't... Now, people are wondering, can the Florida government get somebody from a different state? No, but they can always submit things to the FBI. They can always submit things to a higher power with a higher jurisdiction that can then get them, but then they might go to like a different prison or something. But there still is a way to there is systems in place that can get criminals from different states, but for the most part, I don't think you would want to go anywhere. I think you would want to go to like a Florida, like I don't know where you would go that no one would want them. So, but thank God that he's not our problem anymore, and let Romania deal with him. But I still think, regardless of what happens with that trial, there needs to be some consequence for the scamming and the rug pulling.
Kids, we're gonna come after you.
By now, it's clear that Andrew Tate is getting more and more desperate with each passing day, and nowhere is this desperation more apparent than his recent lawsuit against Twitter users. As I was writing this video, the Tates filed a defamation lawsuit against 15 Twitter accounts that have been critical of the duo in the past. They're seeking a minimum of $50,000 in damages from the owners of these Twitter accounts. Though the real purpose of this lawsuit is to just bully these creators into submission. It's incredibly petty, something that Andrew himself isn't ashamed to admit.
Listen, I'll say this right here, right now. I don't need a reason. You're gonna have to defend yourself, regardless. That's the thing about the American legal system. You cannot ignore it. I don't care if it costs me $1 million to take $1,000 out of your bank. You're gonna be in court twice a month for the rest of your human years. I don't care. I will sue you for any and every reason forever. And you're gonna have to hire lawyers and turn up forever. I will do that. I'm that guy. I'm petty.
Which, this is one thing I hate about American legal system, is if you have money, okay, you could be in the wrong, but what you can do is just tie somebody up. Okay, actually, even if both parties have money, you can literally tie somebody up in a legal battle that's just forever. And it's just and the whole thing is just an inconvenience. So imagine spending millions of dollars for years and years and years just to make someone's life inconvenient because they have to show up. They have to show up to court, and it's like, oh my God, here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. That's why, like, it happens more often than you think. But yeah, that's the one thing that I hate about the American legal system is you can do petty lawsuits. But in fairness, there's a lot of judges that are really good about throwing them out if they feel like that's what it is. But if it's a civil case, it can't. There's only so much you can do about that.
I'm petty and I've got a lot of money and a lot of time.
What he didn't expect, however, was that these Twitter users aren't going down without a fight. For those who don't know, in order to win a defamation lawsuit, you have to prove that what the other person said was a lie. It's a risky move since the other party can also use the lawsuit's discovery process to gather hard evidence backing their claims. As one of the users he sued mentioned in a tweet, "Now we get to subpoena all their documents to prove what we shared was real and factual." Andrew will likely realize this soon, and
that's another reason why, like, that's why too, like, if you're hiding something, ironically enough, you don't want to sue. Okay, so if you're hiding something, you don't want to sue anybody because they can subpoena you. But if you're not hiding something, you actually want people to subpoena you. Does that make sense? Because then it's like, it'll only make you look even better. It's kind of like, look at what happened with Johnny Depp. By the way, defamation is really hard to prove. It's one of the hardest cases to win. But look at what happened with Johnny Depp, right? Which I'm not comparing Andrew Tate. I think Andrew Tate is probably more on the guilty side than the innocent, in my, just based on the evidence that's put before me in this video. The thing is, it's like the best thing for Johnny Depp was to literally get to sue them. But even if Amber Heard countersued, it only makes him look better. Because, you know what I mean? Like, the more information that's in the public, the better for them.
To drop the case. But even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter much in the long run. After all, he has nowhere left to run. The UK police already have an arrest warrant against him and his brother. The Romanian case is still going on. And now, even the US is involved in investigating their heinous crimes. With the way things are going, it's only a matter of time before they're put behind bars for good.
And the thing is, too, this is another thing, too. You got to be careful with American lawyers. American lawyers are probably one of the, some of the best lawyers. I mean, they're, well, American lawyers. I mean, there's a lot of lawyers that are fantastic in other countries, but they come practice in America because that's where they make the most money. But one of the things, too, you got to be careful with, not be careful with, but these criminals, what they don't understand, too, is that there's lawyers, really good ones, who will basically not do it for free, but do it for a substantially lower amount if it means that they're going to get to be part of a historical, or like there's like some type of gain from it with either clout, marketing. What is it called? Where it's like it's organic reach or something like that. There's like a word where like you get to market and it's like not something you can put a dollar amount on. That is the one thing you gotta, hey, these criminals think they're slick, but all it takes is one really high level lawyer somewhere to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for cheap because it's gonna be televised and I want to be a part of this. And then they're cooked. These lawyers, man, these American lawyers, man, they're crazy. So dangerous individuals. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down in the description. I'll check you guys on the next one. And hopefully we don't have to deal with these guys in the US ever again. Love you guys. Check you on the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.